What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be here with you today. I'm so excited you are here with me today, and I'm excited for what I'm going to get to teach you today. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Coach Dawson. I'm a certified personal trainer, nutrition and mindset coach, and founder of the Fit Club Babes app. It's an all-in-one transformation app. You guys, my goal here with this channel is to empower you on your health and fitness journey to become healthier, stronger, more confident versions of yourself, and ultimately realize that you have the power to change your story. In today's video, we're going to be going over some fat loss methods. I'm pretty sure you all have lost weight or tried to lose weight, or maybe it's been such a struggle for you. It's no surprise that being in a fat loss is challenging and hard. So what I have done in this video is some fat loss methods that have helped me when I have had a fat loss goal or a weight loss goal. So let's get going. Make sure you guys, you stay around to the end because I do have a gift for you and some resources. So make sure you stay through this whole video, and also let me know below the video what method that you're excited to try or that you're going to try, or maybe that you haven't tried. So make sure you comment below this video, and make sure to hit that subscribe somewhere here. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and hit that bell because it will notify you when I do upload new videos. Okay, you guys, before we get into the methods, I just want to explain what fat loss is, because there's so many myths out there. There's so many hacks and quick fixes and ideas and lotions and potions. First off, I want to start by saying I'm not giving you any quick fixes. I don't have any pills to sell you or lotions or hacks. This is all natural, and this is the way that I have done it, and all of my clients and all of the Fit Club members have done it. Okay, so in order for fat loss to occur, you have to be in a caloric deficit. So what does that mean? That means you have to burn more than you consume. That means you have to be in a negative energy balance. Okay, when the scales are tipped, you are burning more than you are consuming. All right, now this is the law of energy balance. So nothing overrides this law. So if someone is losing weight and dropping weight, they are in a caloric deficit. Now, how do we create a caloric deficit? Two ways. We move more, we eat less. And yes, it will go more detailed. Obviously, that is pretty broad, but essentially, if you do those two things, you will lose weight. Now, what is the difference between fat loss and weight loss? Now, they both can happen, obviously, whereas they can be the way you approach it, okay? The way you approach your fat loss will determine which one occurs the most. Now, it essentially is your body composition. So when we're focusing on fat loss, we're really focusing on our nutrition and hitting our macronutrients and lifting weights. All right. When we're just focusing on weight loss specifically, we can get there a lot of unhealthy ways. We can take pills. We can, food restrict. We can, overdo cardio. We can do a lot of unhealthy ways. Take diuretics. We can do all of these things just to get that scale to go down. Now, does this mean that fat loss is occurring? No, it doesn't. So it's really important that in order for fat loss to occur and for you to sustain your new physique that you want, you have to build the habits to get you there, and also the habits that will take you through and you can live at. All right. So in order for you to lose fat, you have to be in a caloric deficit. And in order for you to get the body composition you want, you have to focus on your macronutrients in that caloric deficit, and you also have to pair it with resistance training. All right, so let's talk about creating a caloric deficit. So what is that? It just means, okay, so you have something called your TDEE. This is your total daily energy expenditure. It's the amount of energy that your body needs in order to live and survive. Okay, so your TDE is broken up into sections. So you have your BMR, that's your basal metabolic rate. So this is the amount of calories. This makes up the biggest block, ladies. This makes up the biggest block, everybody, even if there's guys watching. So that just means that this is the amount of calories your body needs just to be a couch potato. It's to help your organs, your brain, your cells, everything. So it's usually, depending if you're male or female, but anywhere between 1200 to even 1600. Males are on the higher end, but typically if you're female, we're probably sitting at around 13 to 1400 calories. That is just to do nothing. Okay, and then we have something called our NEAT. And our NEAT is our non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So this is the amount of calories our body burns just by fidgeting, you know, taking out the laundry, what I'm doing right now, like moving my hands, it's burning calories. So it's not intentional. It's just something. So some people have a high NEAT, like my husband and my daughter, they don't sit still. They are always fidgeting. If they're sitting, they're like bouncing their knee or like those. I'm not that way. If I'm sitting, I'm done. I'm not moving a morsel. So I have a different NEAT level. So there's your NEAT. And then you have your TEF. So this is the thermic effective food. So yes, when we eat foods, our body has to use calories, energy to break that down. And the highest thermic effective food is from protein and fiber. So protein has the highest, and then fiber, like vegetables, have the second highest. So that's like the roughage. It has to break it down, so it has to work really hard. And carbs and all those other things, even like the good carbs, they all break down quite easily into in the body and into the bloodstream. So there's that, and then there is your exercise activity. So that takes up the smallest portion. So a lot of us women, this is why I want to talk about fat loss for a second, will really focus on burning calories in the gym and like, why didn't I burn so many calories? I don't burn as many calories weightlifting as I do doing cardio. So I'm not going to weightlift, I'm going to do cardio. And then I'm just going to be in a caloric deficit. I'm not going to track my macros. Well, what happens when we do this? We lose muscle mass. And when we lose muscle mass, we may lose weight, but here we've lost the thing that is going to keep our metabolism high. So really important, ladies, when we want to think about the fat loss method that we're going to choose, we also want to pair it with weightlifting. Why? Weightlifting and your workouts is not going to be the place you're going to be thinking about burning calories. Yes, you'll burn some calories, but you're not thinking about burning in your workouts. You're more thinking about building. Think about your workouts as building and sculpting the shape that you want. Sculpting the shoulders, sculpting the biceps, sculpting the abs, sculpting the booty. That's the place you're going to sculpt. And then your nutrition is the place that's going to chisel. That those fat cells are going to shrink when you're in a deficit. They don't go away and they don't burn, so to speak, but they shrink. They just get smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's when things get tighter and tighter and tighter. So you want to, they both complement each other, and you want both of them when you're going to be thinking about what method of fat loss that you're going to choose. Now, one other thing I want to say about your method that you choose is we have to create a caloric deficit. Now, I have calculators on my website. I'm going to link them below here. I have, once we go through the methods, I'll let you know where to get them. But start with the smallest deficit possible, okay? Why? Because your body may respond really well to a 10% or a 15% deficit. So why would you torture yourself with a 20 or 30% deficit when your body's responding well? It's only when we go higher percentage deficit when our body kind of plateaus or stops responding. And again, we can apply different methods to get out of plateaus as well. So you could start with a little, and then you can add to it as you go. So see how well your body responds just to a little bit of a deficit. And I would do this for a couple weeks. If your body drops, if your weight drops, then chances are you are in a deficit. Now, what I want to say quickly about the deficit is under your maintenance calories. So that TDEE, your total daily expenditure, energy expenditure, that's your total daily. So all of those boxes I talked about, your BMR, your NEAT, your thermic effective food and exercise activity, those all make up the amount of calories your body burns a day. So in order for us to lose, we got to go just a little bit below that TDEE. Okay, that's your maintenance calories, just a bit, just like 10, 15%. And just be consistent with it. and you should see the scale drop 0.5 to 1 pound a week. Now I want to say, 0.5 to 1 pound a week. Some may drop more, and if you do drop anywhere between 2 and 5 pounds a week, it's probably just some water weight, because even sometimes cleaning up food, we can kind of initially drop any like lose sodium, lose water from our body, and that can we just start feeling really good within the first week. But you're not going to be losing 2 to 5 pounds every single week. We're all different, so I just kind of want to say that your goal should be 0.5 to 1 pound a week, and then some weeks you may stall out, and then some weeks it may move again. So just to pay attention to that. Now, another question that I got asked is, what's the biggest deficit you can take? I wouldn't go below 30% deficit. It's just, unless you're competing in a bikini show towards the end, you may. But typically, if it's just for general fat loss for the general population, don't go below 30%. Start small, and then you can work your way up depending how well your body responds. Okay, so you guys, let's get into the methods. Now, what I want to say about these methods is the method may be different, but the foundation is the same. Okay, so the foundation is a deficit. So these will all help you create a deficit. The method is just going to help. We're all wired differently, and we all have different relationships with food and our habits and things like that. So the method that you choose will just be based on your personality and what works really well for you and your lifestyle. Okay, so I'm so excited, you guys, about teaching you about this, because this is something that women struggle with so much, including myself. And so I'm so excited. Okay, so the first method of fat loss that you can do is just a calorie deficit. So what does this mean? It just means creating a 10% deficit to start with, or 15% to start with, and tracking your macros. And you can either follow a meal plan, or you can just track your macros, and you're just staying in that deficit 7 days a week. Okay, so if your maintenance calories were 2,500, let's just say, if you did a 15% deficit, your calories would look like 2,125. That's what your calories would look like. And then within that, you would have your protein, your carbs, your fats, your macro breakdown. But that's the amount of calories that you would follow for 7 to 14 days. And if you drop, then that's amazing. It's better than like going, like 1,500 calories, or when you think you have to do a 1,400 calorie diet. And here you could have been dieting at 2,100, 25 calories. So that's why it's really important to do this the right way. So you could just do that. So that's the first method, would be just to track just follow your macronutrients and stay within your calories. That's it. And if you lose and you're good with that, and you like routine and eating the same thing every day, or you don't have to, you could do flexible dieting within your macros. That would be the approach. So that's the first one. It's probably the easiest one. Now, the second one that you could do, and this may be because you have a very social life, okay? Or you have a wedding, or you have parties or birthdays or celebrations to go do, would be calorie cycling. Now, I really want to stress the importance of when we calorie cycle. So you're still in a deficit over those 7 days, but what you're going to do is you're going to minus 1 to 2 days. So 1 to 2 days at maintenance calories. So let's say you have parties and you want to, maybe have more room for more food or higher calorie items. And then maybe on Friday and Saturday, you eat 2,500 calories. You're more at your maintenance calorie. So all we would do is we would minus 2,500, it again, and then we're left with 9,875 calories. Okay, so then we're going to divide that by 5, and we're left with 1975. So instead of 2125 calories 7 days a week, you're going to be at 1975 for 5 days, and then on those other 2 days, you're going to be at 2,500 calories. So it's really important to understand that you are in a deficit. You're still in the same deficit as you would be in the very first one. You're just moving your calories around to kind of fit your lifestyle. I hope that makes sense. Okay, and then one thing why this is really important is because a lot of ladies, will be in a deficit, and then they want to have a cheat day or whatever you call that And the issue with this is you don't track it. So you go way over your total weekly total deficit, and then you maintain and you wonder why you're not losing. So it has to be done. It has to be planned. So when you plan it like this, if this way works better for you, mentally, it might just make you feel like you have more freedom, okay? That's really important. It's more of like a mental game too. It may just make it so that you can kind of enjoy your life a little bit more. All right, so the third method would be carb cycling. Now, if you guys have seen my videos, if not, I'll link them here. It is on carb cycling. Carb cycling is a really great way to help you stay in a deficit. Now, it's not magic, okay? It's still got the same foundation. Carb cycling is keeping you in a deficit. And so why is this more helpful? Because when you're in a deficit, some days you may feel tired. You're not eating as much as you would at maintenance or just if you weren't in a deficit. So on days like our leg days, or we're expending more energy, or we're more active, we may allot more of our calories to carbohydrates those days. So still over the 7 days, you are in a deficit. Just some of those days we're changing the macronutrient ratios. So some days you may have higher amount of carbohydrates and higher calories, and other days you may have just a little bit lower calories and lower carbohydrates and maybe a little bit more fats. I want to say with this is your protein will always stay the same. You always want to be making sure you're staying consistent with your protein. It's usually your body weight. We're not going to get into that today. The calculators will do it for you, but it's usually your body weight is what you're going to eat, depending who you are and your goal. That will stay the same. The only difference between high carb and low carb are the fat to carbohydrate ratios, changing the grams in your meals. And then too, I want to say about the last method, the second method, calorie cycling. It's the same thing. Your protein's going to be the same. So when those calories increase to maintenance, it's coming mainly from your carbohydrates and fats. Again, it just depends what you feel like you function better on. Okay, you guys, so the fourth method of fat loss that you could try is intermittent fasting. So this, all essentially intermittent fasting is, yes, it has some other health benefits, but if we're strictly talking for fat loss, it really just is cutting out eating windows. So it shortens your eating windows, and then you're eating less meals, but the meals are bigger. So you're eating anywhere from 1 to 3 meals within your eating window, whether you have an 8-hour eating window, a 6-hour, 4-hour, maybe 2-hour. This helps you stay in a deficit. A lot of people get really good results. The only thing with this is you have to still be reaching your protein, and it can be really hard if you only have 2 meals and you have to eat 120 grams of protein. So there's that. So there are some downsides to that with women and intermittent fasting. If you're in your cycle, then you have to kind of cycle sync when you're fasting. It just makes it more complicated. If you are an intermittent faster, then again, do what works for you. Try all of these methods. Don't try them. I don't know. Whatever you feel like will work for you. So the fifth method, and again, it's just personal preference, is keto. So keto, again, is cutting out. It's kind of like intermittent fasting. You cut out time. Keto, you cut out carbs. You have like small amounts of carbs, but you're essentially cutting out a food group altogether. So yes, it makes it easier to stay in a deficit. So it's not magic. Keto is not magic. You can't eat all the fat you want. You still have to adhere to the law of energy balance. It just makes it easier because when you don't have carbs, your body's not holding on to water, because carbohydrates hold water within your body. So the minute you stop having them, you lose a lot of water in your body, and you initially have a weight loss, and you initially feel like your skin is a little bit tighter to your muscles, and then you have less options. So you take away the options, it's like carbohydrates are the one thing that is easy to overeat, or is in everything, sweets and treats and fast food and things like that. So these are methods. I want you to remember that these last two maybe aren't sustainable depending who you are, your lifestyle, your health conditions, things like that. The first three would be the one I would recommend. And so the last thing that I want to say is there's no rule with these. Is figure out what your body likes, try them all. pick one, try them all. Let me know below which one that you're gonna try. Finish off with some tips about this is for fat loss. Number one, hit your protein intake, ladies. Remember, protein has the highest thermic effect of food. So that means it's hardest to break down. Your body burns the most calories breaking it down, and it's also the most satiating, and it's the only thing that's gonna help repair and rebuild your muscle tissue when you are tearing those muscles and stressing your body in the gym. So it's really important. And then the second thing is think of volume foods, high volume, low calorie. When you're in a fat loss, this will help keep you fuller longer. It will help with fiber, water content. Think vegetables, fresh fruits. Those are like whole foods. Those things are so good when you're on fat loss because you typically can have lots of them and they're low calorie and they fill you up really fast because, like I said, the water content and the fiber. Remember, ladies, fat loss is just for a season. Typically it can be anywhere from 6 weeks to 12 weeks. You do want to take diet breaks or refeeds. We're going to go through that in another video, but I just want you to remember that you're not supposed to live in a fat loss all year long. Maybe once a year you should do a fat loss, and the rest of the year you should be thinking about building and staying at maintenance calories. So it is for a season. So before we go, you guys, there's macronutrient calculators. I've got a macro calculator and a carb cycling calculator you'll see below. So again, what method you choose, I have calculators for that below, as well as I have a free ebook for you. It's called Macros to Muscle, and it's got so much information and knowledge and everything you would need to help you with your fat loss journey. Again, if you have any questions about this, comment below this video. I hope that this helped. I starts working for you. If you felt stuck in your fat loss journey, you know, these tips, you're able to apply them and they really helped. And if they have, please let me know. Come follow me on Instagram, message me on here, send me an email. You guys, thank you for tuning in today. Give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and until next time, bye for now.